LearnBiz LLC is an entrepreneur coaching agency which customizes solutions to help businesses grow and thrive in an ever-changing economy.
You are listening to LearnBiz, the podcast, where we share an entrepreneur's journey and allow you to obtain insight into their path to success. We're here to educate other entrepreneurs about the ins and outs of running a small business, and we will provide you with tips and resources that can help you along your entrepreneurial journey.
Music selection, Midnight Silhouette by Devon Wright.
Thanks for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Devon.
Thank you very much for having me, Sandy. Thank you very much.
So we're going to go right into it. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, Devon.
Well, my main thing in life is that I'm an assistant professor of Africana Studies. That's just a fancy way of saying I'm a professor of Black Studies, concentration on African American culture in particular, but my specialization is Black protest movements and the white supremacist counter movements that are opposed to Black protests. So that's that's pretty much what I do. And so the last 5-6 years has been very, very interesting for me, to say the least. Especially last year with the 2020 summer protests after the tragic murder of George Floyd.
Right. So I definitely can see that, the PhD is being put to good use. What are you doing in terms of your business? Like what kind of work are you doing?
So I have this really, really big multimedia project. The format of it right now is a graphic novel series in the Afrofuturism genre. That's the same genre that Black Panther, that film, fits into, just sort of portraying Black people, whether Africans or people of African descent, in a futuristic sort of world. Okay. Gotcha. So my graphic novel series fits in that genre. And it's about, the simplest way to explain it, it's about superhero musicians in a post-apocalyptic future in which all forms of artistic expression have been completely abolished, punishable by death. However, a young, arrogant jazz guitar virtuoso, he gets sent to that future that I just described to become the prophesied musical messiah, the leader of this resistance movement. That's me drawing on some of my PhD studies of Black culture. The leader of this resistance movement called avant-gardians. And naturally, because I said I used the term multimedia earlier, naturally because it's about superhero musicians, you got to have music. So The multimedia part is the music part. I'm also a musician myself, a jazz guitarist, not formally studied, but I think 1998 was when I bought my first guitar. So I've been studying since then. And since then, I've put out 2 solo jazz, hip hop, funk, soul fusion CDs. The first CD has one song that is your soundtrack.
Yay.
Called Midnight Silhouette. And the follow-up to that CD, I should say, that first CD is how I came up with Avant-Gardians, the graphic novel series. It really happened by mistake. I was just trying to find a clever way to promote my CD. I think very visually when I hear music that I really, really like. So I kept thinking of warrior musicians. And the more that I thought about it, I was like, man, this would make a great, awesome cartoon idea. I don't have that kind of money, but let me pursue it in a graphic novel format, which I can afford. And hopefully at some point in the future, in a theater near you or on some at-home platform like Netflix or Amazon, you'll see Avant-Gardians as a series.
Oh, I love that. So Midnight Silhouette is track 2 on your first album, which is Through the Mind's Eye. So in terms of coming up with Avant-Gardians, what is it that you feel motivated or inspired you to even come into this realm of Afrofuturism?
So, like I said, first it was the music. That was really by mistake. I was just trying to find a clever way to promote my CD, and I kept thinking of warrior musicians. But
Right.
the bigger, deeper motivation, I mean, it draws on a number of influences in my life. I mean, I'll just talk about this for a second. Hasbro, which is the owner of Transformers and GI Joe,
Right.
Hasbro actually on YouTube, they have made available all of the episodes of all of the seasons of the original Generation 1 1980s Transformers. And that was very influential for me as a child growing up, in addition to GI Joe. I watched those episodes and it takes me back to my childhood. It had a huge impact on actually the development of my vocabulary. Like, I learned very sciencey concepts and terms that I would not otherwise have learned at a very young age. It allowed me to be interested intellectually in scientific things. It taught me about storytelling, which helps influence my writing, my storytelling for Avant-Gardian. So that has been a big influence, just growing up watching those awesome action hero cartoons. But also on the music side, I grew up, once I fell in love with hip hop, it pretty much became my religion. When I was a teenager, and I started rapping myself. A little bit later on, I started making my own beats. Then I bought a drum set because I wanted to not rely on having to sample music. Sampling was, the big thing in the early 90s, especially jazz music. And hip hop also introduced me to jazz music as well. So I got that drum set, and then I fell in love with the guitar after that, and it's been the guitar ever since. And thus, all these years later, the 2 CDs, the second one, I neglected to mention that, is called Avant-Gardians, The Future of Music, Volume 1.
Okay.
And that, if you were to imagine Avant-Gardians as an animated series on Netflix, Amazon, or regular TV, the music on that CD, similar to the first CD, would fit into different themes, a fight scene, a romantic scene, an intense dialogue scene, something like that, But yeah, the action hero cartoons of the 80s, hip hop, late 80s, early 90s, those are probably the biggest influences on what became Avant-Gardians as a graphic novel series.
I can see the passion that you have for it. It tells me that you definitely put every single thing into it. So, PhD. You have Avant-Gardians, you are a musician. What is it that you see as the next step for your business, the big pieces that you want to put together to move your business forward?
Ultimately, the ultimate goal for Avant-Gardians is to see it really as a live action, big budget film franchise on the scale of a Black Panther, since I mentioned that earlier. Afrofuturism as a subgenre is really, really growing right now. Like, people are really, really anxious about the Black Panther Part 2. Like, they're really waiting for that movie, especially after the tragic death, untimely death of Chadwick Boseman.
Right.
And so I would like to contribute. I would like Avant-Gardians to contribute to this opening up of representing Black people in this very futuristic, sort of fantasy, sci-fi storytelling. That really is my ultimate goal. I would like Avant-Gardians to be a live action film franchise. But another definition of success for me would be as an animated series. And I'm really trying to take my time, trying to figure out what is the best way I can spend what little time and energy I have because of my professional life to pursue Avant-Gardians in a way that would bring me closer to those 2 ultimate goals that I just described. And so what does that look like? Like, I kind of think of what I do with Avant-Gardians as a business on an annual basis. The reason why is because as an educator, I get time off Christmas break. I get time off Thanksgiving. I get a huge amount of time off over the summer. And so especially over the summer, that's a lot of time for me to pursue Avant-Gardians aggressively as a business. And so I will go to comic conventions and I will sell my comics and my music. And I will promote and try to build up my social media following on Instagram, Avant-Gardians Movie, by the way, or my website, avantgardians.com. I'll try to build up my following there, and I'll get feedback from people. I try to put out one comic issue per year, because in my busy life, that's all I can commit myself to.
Gotcha.
approximately every 2 to 2.5 years, I can do an album and then put that out. So the next issue of Avant Guardians, which will be issue number 4, and a teaser issue, will be coming out summer 2022. And I'm going to try to go to comic conventions. Probably they're going to be here in Colorado. But I got started with Avant Guardians in Florida, so I might need to try to find some in Florida as well. And then maybe the next album, maybe sometime in late 2022 or early 2023.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I can only imagine what the next phase of Avant Guardians is going to be. So, in terms of entrepreneurship, for someone who's just getting started and wants to come into this realm of Afrofuturism or even just graphic novels, what kind of advice would you give to them?
I would say take your dreams seriously. What do I mean by that? Be disciplined about it. Draw up plans, be honest with yourself about what you can do. Like, you need to get rest. You need to get sleep. You need to be able to pay your bills. So the dream that you're pursuing may not be paying your bills right now. So you have to honor what is paying your bills, right? That is allowing you to, have stability in your life to be able to pursue your dreams. I'm a creative person, and I have a lot of creative friends who are artists, visual artists, who are musicians. And a lot of times we can get ourselves into trouble by letting the dream consume us. Right. And not understanding that there's nothing wrong with pursuing, something that provides a financial foundation for you, like a regular job, a regular career. Right. So you can have a platform to pursue your dreams. I need to know that I can be able to pay my bills and have a place to sleep at night so I can pursue my dream. So that's what I mean by take your dreams seriously, like honor yourself by, understanding that you're here in reality. You're not living in your dreams. You want to make them reality, but you have to take reality seriously. And so another piece of advice I would say, if you're really, really, really serious about whatever your dream is, understand that you need to familiarize yourself with all of the legal aspects of how it is that you're going to pursue your dream. So, for example, where Avant Guardians is concerned, I have to protect my intellectual property. So at this point, I think I have 3 trademarks. Like, I've trademarked the name Avant Guardians. You can look in the U.S. government's trademark search, and you can see Avant Guardians. You'll see my name, and I have 2 others for characters and properties for that. So that's one thing. Copyright, like if you're a writer like myself, do the proper copyright process, get that legal protection. And I'm about to create a media company. I haven't decided on the name yet, but whatever state you might live in, take the time to search about the LLC process, creating a limited liability corporation that creates your business as a legal entity, so that you can pay the government, whether the federal government, state government, the local government, their taxes, and they don't come after you and guard your money and that sort of thing.
Gotcha. Absolutely. And you know what? I know that we're still in the middle of a pandemic. So as we wrap up, I kind of want your perspective on how did the pandemic impact your business? Like, were you still functional? Did it give you a big hit?
So during the shutdown part of the pandemic, which was really like, let's say approximately from March-ish until, when was that? Well, 2020 into early 2021. Like, I'm just remembering now. Wow, that was a long time. It was a long time, but it was short. It was very intense because I didn't know what was going to happen. Honestly, I thought early in the pandemic we were headed to a second Great Depression. That really was my expectation. So I was saving a lot of food, a lot of canned, non-perishable items. I was really thinking in that apocalyptic sort of way, But when I kind of settled into a groove of, okay, well, this is our new reality. Everything's virtual now. I was teaching online, of course, and I settled into a habit. The comic conventions were no more, right? Not in person. And so I said, well, maybe this is an opportunity for me to do more social media promotion. And I just took a chance. I said, hey, I'm going to create a package deal. I got to think of some prices because I had a whole bunch of comics just sitting at home in music.
Yeah.
There's no more comic conventions. I need to find a way to sell them. I didn't think I was going to sell anything, but I'm like, let me take a chance. And I started to make a little bit of business. There were some people, a lot of them were already my friends, but there were some people that I did not know, and they placed orders for my different package plans. So that did kind of work out for me.
Nice. So you just took a chance and look how it paid off.
Yes.
Okay. So as we close out, Devon, is there one thing that you would want to share about entrepreneurship as your final thought that really keeps you motivated?
It's similar to what I was saying before. Whatever your dream is for your business, take it seriously. Oftentimes we can get overwhelmed by the thought of success. Let me say this another way. Sometimes it's not so much failure that we're afraid of. Sometimes we're actually afraid of success and all of the responsibility that comes with that. It's like, man, what if this thing actually happens? What's that going to mean for my life? And sometimes people get intimidated by that. They get scared and you get frozen and you don't want to do anything anymore because you're afraid of all the responsibilities that come with success. If that's the case, pace yourself. Take your time, divide things up into chunks and pieces and doable, achievable, little smaller goals and that add up to the larger ultimate goal that you're trying to pursue.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for that, Devon. So how can people reach you to find all of the great things that you've put out there?
Where Avant Guardians is concerned, I would say I'm most active on Instagram because Instagram is very visually driven. So I have a lot of images. I have performances. During the pandemic, that's another thing that I was doing. I'd be practicing guitar at home. I have performances on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Avant Guardians Movie. I'm also on Facebook, same thing, Avant Guardians Movie. And the website for Avant Guardians is avantguardians.com.
All right. Thank you so much, Devon. It was such a pleasure having you on here. I'm looking forward to all of the Afrofuturists that will be produced from listening to your interview. And again, we appreciate you for joining us on LearnBiz, the podcast. I hope you'll come back and join us again soon.
Thank you very much for having me, Sandy. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Music selection, Midnight Silhouette by Devon Wright.
Thanks for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.